Can Season 22 save Apex? I don't know as of now, but this is coming from somebody that has been playing Apex ever since it came out, since the very first season. Apex was the game that initially got me off of Fortnite. I was no-lifing Fortnite, and then when Apex came out, I just fell in love with the movement, the guns, the characters, and just like the way the game felt. Apex is like no other game. There's no game that feels like Apex, and I think that's what keeps a lot of people on the game. And throughout my years playing Apex, I've taken off so many seasons here and there. I've played full seasons where I really enjoyed the game, and then sometimes I just kind of get burnt out and take a break. Apex has always had its ups and downs, but I think Season 22 definitely has potential to bring a lot of people back to the game. And a lot of new people to the game. A lot of the current issues going on with Apex right now, there's so many of them, but I feel like at a certain point, a lot of the problems boiled over, and those battle pass changes that they announced were like the straw that broke the camel's back initially. But ever since reverting the changes, and honestly, I feel like doing a pretty decent job of listening to the community, I feel like Apex has a chance to really make a comeback when it comes down to just making the game the best it can be. A lot of people in the community have been saying that they're taking a break, or they're actually just done with Apex completely, or how they just are kind of in a point that they're just gonna wait around and see if the game is worth playing. When the update first came out for Season 21, I was playing a lot. I was really enjoying it. It was really fun, but these last few weeks, I have not touched the game at all. I honestly got burnt out, and after hearing a lot of people's complaints about the game and having my own frustrations, it kind of made me really just put the game down, and I've been fine not playing it. But I gotta say that these Season 22 changes and this update, it looks fun, and I'm definitely gonna give it a chance. Apex has always been a game that a lot of people are interested in. I can give my personal experience on this. There's so many friends that want to play Apex or have played Apex in the past, but they just realize how sweaty the game is and how hard the game is for people that are kind of casual, or like that they don't play as much. They might hop on once in a while, or they hop on whenever they feel like it. The game is very hard for those type of people right now. It's tough. Anytime that somebody has asked me to play Apex with them, I always kind of feel bad, because I know that they're just gonna have a horrible time in my lobbies. We have one good game, and then we're playing against lobbies full of predators, and it's just one of my friends that I'm trying to casually play games with. They barely play Apex, you know? And that's what I feel like keeps a lot of people off the game. And it's in a weird spot, because it's a game that a lot of people are interested in and they love watching. Like my brother, he loves watching Apex but never plays the game. Or I have friends that they're interested in the game and they talk about it and they watch and they know what's going on, but they just don't want to play it. And I feel like that's kind of just the position a lot of people are in. And if we can bring a lot of those people back onto the game, it would just be great. And I think we got to start by just making the game less egregious towards new players, and that, like, the matchmaking is just too tough. But I was watching Mango and Tree's video, and he was saying that Apex, like Respawn, that they said that they're taking a huge look at matchmaking for newer players and more casual players, so it's not as tough on them. Like, we've been asking for it forever, but if they actually can do something about that, I think that would be amazing. And understand, this is coming from somebody that I'm honestly pretty good at the game. When I'm playing the game often, I feel like I'm a pretty good player, and it's crazy because if I take even a couple days off, a week off, God forbid a week off, I feel the difference. I feel how hard the game is, and that's from just taking a small break. I feel how sweaty it is, so I can only imagine how that feels for people that are not as good at the game and they're not as good players in general. It probably feels really tough to hop on Apex. Especially the thing about Apex is, like, for new players, man, all the characters, getting used to all the characters, all the abilities, the maps, like every single map is completely different. Learning one map is hard, and then if you're a new player, you got to learn all these maps. And it's cool because at least we only have a few maps this season, but you know what I'm saying, it's hard to learn these maps. all these weapons work differently. It's not like Call of Duty where you can just use the same weapon all the time. You have to get good, or at least okay, at using all these different types of weapons that are completely different. None of these guns act the same. And for new players, stuff like that I feel like is very, very tough. And the start of every season is a chance for people to get back on the game. Even me, I'm hopping back on after taking a decent sized break to give the new season a chance. And with that being said, last season was really fun for me. When I was playing last season, the very start, those was really fun when I first got in on it. I think Alter is a super cool character. I love her abilities, and it was really fun learning how to play against Alter and stuff like that, especially during that first period when the season first came out. But then it just got to a point, how it always is, where everybody just goes back to using all the sweatiest stuff. The casual players kind of stop playing the game as much, and then it's just the sweats on. Everybody's just using Horizon and Revenant, and nobody's playing Alter anymore. The character just came out, and she's good. She's cool. The best players just do the same stuff. It's just how it is. We're just gonna abuse the meta all the time, and that's just how it goes. Even when it gets sweaty like that, I'll still play the game because I just enjoy Apex. I love how the game feels. Like I said, there's no other game like Apex, and I'm good enough to compete with these guys, but that doesn't mean that I want to hop on every single time and play against literally the top very percent of players, the best players like in the game. It gets exhausting. There's no chill way to play Apex, and I think since there's no chill way to play Apex, it turns a lot of people off. I wish that there was a way that I can kind of play with my friends that are not as good, and I know that there's mixtape, and like mixtape is cool, I guess, but you know what I mean. And that's the cool thing, is with this new Apex update, they seem to be listening to a lot of that and trying to give newer players a chance. Apex is just not fun unless you're going off. When I think about it, I'm having a good time, but it's because I'm honestly destroying people sometimes, and it feels good. It feels good to be really good at Apex, but to get really good is extremely stressful, and it is just not easy. It's not something that's easy to keep up, especially if you play legit. I can have a good time, but the only way to have a good time is just destroying other players. It's not like I hop on there and I'm just having fun just casually playing Apex. It's hard to have fun casually playing Apex, and that's a huge problem. So I'm not going to go fully into all the details about the patch notes. If you guys are really interested in that, there's plenty of videos out there about all the patch notes, but I'm just going to be touching on a few big ones that I think are pretty impactful for how the game just plays in general, and stuff that I'm personally excited for. So they're adding this new game mode, or not game mode, but yeah, a new way to play called Bot Royale. It's like just regular battle royale, but it's all bots, and they're not that good, but it's a good way to play. You have like friends on. If you have friends on that don't play as much, or they don't know how a certain map works or how certain characters work, it's a good way to practice that in in-game setting. And all characters are unlocked in Bot Royale, and you can play all the maps. So that's the thing. If you really want to practice with some of your friends, but you don't want to put them through that stress of playing against, you know, all these sweaty players, that's a good way to get them in a real in-game flow instead of just shooting in a firing range or something like that. I feel like that was a good change, and I think Apex is listening by doing stuff like that. I think that's a really good change. So in this last season 21, in the solos mode, they added this battle sense mechanic where you get alerted when you're in the close proximity of other players, like enemy players, and they're adding that into just the whole game. So even stuff like that, I feel like helps newer players, and I think the game is just going to be faster and more fun because of that. It worked well in solos, and I thought it was cool. So they're adding that, and you can also see players' health like above their head. You can see their health now all the time, like how it is when you come out of Alter Portal or a Seer Scan. I feel like that helps a lot of new players too, so you don't have to worry about calling out all the time like who's one shot and worrying about who's weak. They can kind of just visually see it and play off that without having to do all the communication and stuff. Because I definitely have friends that they get overwhelmed by some of these call outs, and I think certain things like that is a good way to help ease in new players, and I think it just makes the game more fun and kind of smooth, to be honest. The season 22 update, they're actually adding this new game mode. It's basically Resurgence from Call of Duty. There's a respawn mechanic, and I think they said up to like 10 respawns, I think, something crazy like that. But it's just a game mode where as long as you have somebody alive on your team, you can respawn, and the more people you have up, like I guess the quicker the respawn is. And every single time that you use a respawn, I think the timer goes down or something like that. But I think adding game modes like this are so beneficial for getting new players into the vibe of getting into fights, not being scared to fight because you're not gonna just go back to the lobby after it. You get warm, you get to do real in-game fight speed. And I feel like it's gonna help a lot of new players just get used to fighting often. And I think that's just a great thing, and it's very obvious that Apex is definitely taking it into consideration this season to bring in new players. It's very obvious that that's their goal with this, and I think it's a great idea. I think that this game mode will definitely help a lot of people, and I think I can play this game mode with friends that aren't as good, you know, my friends that don't play the game as much. I think we can just have a fun time on that, and I think it'll be cool. From the videos I've watched on the new district map, it just looks beautiful. And even when they were teasing it way back, I was thinking like this really might be my favorite map in the game, even just off of visuals alone. But after I've been seeing gameplay of the actual map, dude, the map looks amazing, and I'm really excited to play it. And like I said, it will be cool because if new players get on the game, they get to learn the map fresh with everybody else. I think that's also intentional with them making this season such a big point of emphasis of bringing in new players. But the new map is something I'm extremely excited for. I can't wait to learn some of these spots, get used to playing it. It seems like it's a very close quarters map, which I love. My main is Mad Maggie, so if I can get in with the shotgun, I'm always down for that. Close quarter fights in Apex are always just more fun. That's kind of hate Kings Canyon. Everybody on Kings Canyon just sits from far, snipes, and just shoots you in the back all the time. Nobody wants to fight up close on KC. But with this new map, I just think the fights are just going to play out really good with all these buildings and the way that they flow. If you guys have seen any of the teasers and stuff, how do you guys feel about the map? Like, you guys excited to play it? I'm thinking it really might be the best map in the game. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. I'm curious. And coming from a Mad Maggie main's perspective, them bringing in Akimbo Mozambiques this season is crazy. I'm so excited to use the Akimbo Mozambique. I like the Mozambique by itself. I think the Akimbo is just going to be way too fun with Mad Maggie, with the speed boost, just running in with 2 shotguns like that. Like, I'm really excited to see how those play out. And obviously they added them on the P2020 as well. I don't use that gun, but with the Akimbo, I'm definitely going to try it. So when the new season comes out, I'm definitely going to post a video day one. I'm going to be trying out all the new weapon changes and stuff. We changed a lot of weapons in the patch notes, like damage buffs and damage nerfs and stuff, but I'm not going to get into all that in this video. That's not as fun, but I'm really excited for the Akimbo weapons. I actually cannot wait to use the Mozambique. As somebody that solo queuing with randoms a lot of the time, I just realized that a lot of players that are not as comfortable with the game take forever to loot. I want to fight, I'm ready to go, and they're still barely getting started looting. They're taking their time and stuff. And this is something that I feel like a lot of new players just have a problem with. They don't really know what to pick up, what to get. But Apex is also adding new bins into the game. These gold bins that give gold weapons. There's fully kitted weapons in there, gold items, stuff like that. And they also even have one mythic bin per map. They have a mythic bin that can literally spawn like a Kraber round 1 if you get to the mythic bin. It has all the mythic weapons that come out the care package. Speaking about loot, Respawn decided to make a pretty cool change. I never really even thought about this, but they decided to make it that halfway through the match, the loot that got looted up already gets reset. So halfway through the game, the loot gets reset. So you can actually go back to a POI and there will be fresh loot. And I feel like this is really good for new players because now you don't have to think as much about loot. There's just going to be more loot in the game. It's going to be less time doing it. And I think that's just better for everybody. I'm really happy about this change. They're also doing a small thing with looting death boxes now too. They're gonna put all the stuff that's priority, that like batteries, pins, shield cores, the stuff that you really need more at the top, they're just going to be right when you open the box. You don't have to scroll down as much, so it's always going to put the stuff that you need first at the top, which I think is really great, and it's going to make it easier for people to loot quicker. So I'm honestly pretty excited to see how this new season is gonna go. I think that there's a lot of potential, but we always gotta see. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Apex, it's Respawn, anything can kind of happen. You have to give credit where credit's due. It seems like they're trying to make a change, and we just gotta see how it goes. Let me know if you guys are gonna be playing this new update when it comes out on Tuesday. I know I'm definitely gonna be giving it a try, and I'm gonna post a video on Tuesday, day one, and show you guys some of the gameplay that I get and go off first impressions. But I appreciate you guys tuning into the video, and until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.